Hi Gemini, thanks for tuning in. This is your reading for December. Please join me while I'm shuffling. Tune in with your higher self and guides. Ask them to connect with my higher self and guides so that we can create a feedback loop through time and space to make sure that the messages that come through here today are tailored for you. And if you take a moment to actually set up that dialogue right now, it just takes a moment. This will very much be a personal reading for you. So we're going to take a look at the general energies for December. One more. Okay. Yeah, interesting cards, Gemini. I would say a bit of a mixed bag here. At the bottom of the deck, you have the Judgment in reverse. So, as far as major arcana cards go in the reading, you have Judgment in reverse at the bottom of the deck. Magician is in your foundation. That's in the subconscious mind. You have the Hierophant in reverse in the quadrant that describes how you see yourself right now. And you have the Star in the past, the recent past of this reading. So, and the Lovers is the crossing card. So that's your that's your lesson, your challenge, and your obstacle at this time. I would say for a lot of people watching this reading, any type of union or partnership could be in question around this time. There could be issues around business partnerships in particular, because the first card of the spread is this Seven of Pentacles. So for some of you, if you're looking at investments or any kind of financial partnerships or business partnerships or any kind of unions where you may merge different interests, even this might not even be about another person or a collaborator. This could be about you questioning or looking at how you can merge and integrate different areas of interest in your life into one kind of conglomerate thing that is able to then make money for you. That's also on the table with this energy. For others though, it's simply you are, if we're talking about business and there's not a partner involved, then it's what I just mentioned. If we're talking about business but you're looking at joining forces with somebody, or you have an existing business partner that you already have made commitments with, or if you're looking at joining forces with someone that's new that's coming in, these are all up for question at this time and up for evaluation. There is definitely reason here to reassess what you may have already begun or what you may be considering to begin. Because there is potential energy here, but there's also some like doubts and questions and uncertainties there, and we'll get into that. Now, if we're talking about a romantic partnership, like if this Lover's energy represents a marriage or a partnership that's already been committed for some time, what it's saying here is that there is a question here whether or not to persevere and pursue a patient, enduring investment in that relationship or in that person. For some of you, there is there are some questions or uncertainties that may have arisen in recent times that are up for review right now and require your honest attention. Now, let's move around the spread a little bit. Excuse me. Where do I begin? I mean, I would have to say, like, overall, the energy of this reading is one where, as I said, there is reason for reassessment or asking questions or reevaluating or maybe playing out some kind of competitiveness or what's the word? It's like something may have already begun for some of you, and it started out with a lot of hopefulness, with a lot of like an abundance of a sensation of this being a super duper alignment, a lot of synchronicity perhaps. Maybe there was some effortless in the way that certain project or prospect or business partnership or romantic partnership began. You know, there's this energy around it being something very synchronistic or very aligned or very cosmic or very destined, something like that, right? And now there are some circumstances which have arisen over time where you may be having some concerns or doubts about whether or not there is more to pursue here, or whether this is something to continue with. There may be some tension that has arisen between you and others. There may be some there may be simply a loss of interest on your behalf or on the other person's behalf. Like there is some kind of a little bit of a duality in this reading where it's showing up as what once was may not now look as bright or as hopeful, or what you had intended may not have actualized, and so you may be wishing to review your goals in order to kind of establish new ones, whether that's with this person or in this business partnership or in this project or not. Because for some of you, I feel like while there may still be like some hopefulness and some expression of it being still feeling very cosmic in some ways, but in a more in a way the magic is expressing in a more challenging way. And the what's up for question here is whether or not it will be worthwhile to pursue moving through those challenging aspects, and if there could still be the potential for emotional renewal and emotional satisfaction on the other side of the pursuit of seeking to understand those challenging things and striving to work towards wholeness again through some undulating landscape of this not feeling quite as effortless as it once was, right? What's also here is that there may be some... Look, on this half of the reading, there's cards here suggesting that there may not be as much interest as there was before, for you or the other person, both sides. There also may be a desire to renegotiate on a commitment. That's here, the Hierophant reverse. There also here may be potentially someone, you or another person, feeling a little lackluster or a little bit disinterested or a little bit dissatisfied with the arrangement or with the chemistry or with the dynamic in some way. But there may not be a willingness yet to completely expose that yet, because they're still unsure whether or not they want to, or you want to continue to putting in effort into what has already been begun. But what also could be showing here is that the other person or you has actually already been very honest, and maybe the sharing of that honesty has had consequences already, where there may be some disruption to what might have been already some kind of picturesque dynamic, even if it wasn't really, it might have just looked that way. So some kind of form of communication which may have been a little jarring to some people. It might have been very blunt and honest to the point of it being almost a little bit shocking, because it may not have been filtered, and that could have come about because emotions were pushed to a certain limit, such that diplomatic and tempered communication might not have even been possible for someone. There's that on that. This is on this half of the reading. On this half of the reading, we have some kind of again, that feeling of really optimistic, aligned, synchronistic, cosmic event that initiated the beginning of something that was full of hope and with a sensation of everything coming together in a really almost flawless way. And yet we have some now uncertainty, lack of clarity, maybe not good communication, or communication that is very challenging, maybe argumentative, could be tension, conflict, drama. There could also be here a stalemate energy where there might not be communication at all, and parties might not actually be able to even share a space to the point that they might be even able to uncover or expose what some of the challenging aspects in this situation might be. that's also here. I feel in the energy of this reading that there's like a split between people wanting to just retract their offer and change their mind, or keep making effort in the face of difficult aspects. But with the Three of Wands as the crowning card of this reading, there's 3 Wands cards in this reading and they're all in reverse. And I feel that the energy of these Wands cards in particular in this spread have more to do with communication than the Swords cards in this reading do, in fact. Like the Swords cards in this reading could almost be saying like there is no communication. People are not able to speak or share or communicate what they experience because they may not even understand it yet, or they may feel too emotional or even angry to be able to share what they're experiencing. But these Wands cards are saying that there may be arguments, there may be either there's arguments and like heated energy being exchanged through words, or there's again no communication at all. But this Three of Wands here, the crowning position of this reading, I feel is really important. And I think that this may be the key actually to helping shift out of this energy, because I feel that this energy may have been like this for a while, and it may be a little bit starting to kind of weigh on you, in the sense that I feel like there hasn't been a lot of movement forward. There may not have been a lot of progress. I feel like there's a little bit of a standstill with this energy. That's mostly what I feel, is that there isn't really a lot of progress. There may not be a lot of communication. There may be just like this energy of either stalemate or standstill, or people taking their own time and space to kind of consider their own needs and feelings. And this Three of Wands, I feel in the reverse position, it's kind of tying together with this Knight of Cups in reverse as well. It's like maybe at one time there was a vision for something long and distant and beautiful, like creating all of the worlds that you wanted to create, with this energy of receptivity, creativity, sharing, collaboration, willingness to join, right? But now both of these cards in this spread are in reverse. So I feel like what's needed here, if any advice I could give, I feel that there just simply needs to be a readjustment or a reassessment of your vision for or the goals that you may have set, whether with this person or otherwise. Whatever has been in the past, as individuals progress forward in their path, they may at times travel together in alignment, in a kind of synchronicity, and at other times they may be out of sync with each other, and kind of entrained in their own way to their own process. That's not to say that if you're not necessarily in sync with someone who you have been aligned with, that's the end of that dynamic or of that relationship. But I feel like the point I'm trying to make here is I feel like there's a need for you to just like see where you are right now. How do you feel? What's going on around you? And what are your goals as an individual? And then how can you, once you become clear about what that is, how can you then bring that knowledge or clarity or awareness of your own personal position currently, and the position you would like to achieve, to the person of interest that we're talking about here, so that you can even see if there is any kind of common ground that you can find. I feel there's a little bit of energy here that's describing maybe there might have been a little, what do you call that, diversion. Like you may have kind of taken a small diversion off what was maybe a clear path forward for you to collaborate with someone or work together with someone, and you may be questioning now if that diversion was actually part of your story or not, perhaps. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck here. Yeah, Judgment reversed, Justice reversed. That's interesting. King of Pentacles reversed and Four of Wands reversed. And here's the Tower. I'm going to take that too. Tower is in reverse. That's some heavy energy there, I have to say, Gemini. That's quite heavy energy. Judgment and Justice together, along with King of Pentacles reversed, Four of Wands reversed, and the Tower reversed. All these cards are reversed. 4 major arcana cards here. So my feeling from that now, seeing this, and also this Hierophant in reverse here is also a little bit of a heavy energy, and I feel like it's connected to this little grouping of cards here. What I feel is that for some of you, you may be in a space of either indecisiveness or maintaining a position of like not necessarily ready to move forward or change your mind or make a decision on anything right now. But I feel that these cards here are suggesting that may not be the right approach to this situation. I feel that waiting to make a move, or waiting maybe for the other person to make a decision, or waiting for some external situation to change might actually be more difficult for you, because I feel like you might be waiting for something external to happen to help you gain clarity, thinking that that's going to be like a sign, or that might be like the universe speaking in a certain way to help you understand what to do. But I feel that you being on the back foot in that way is a little bit passive, and maybe just a bit disempowering, to be honest, a little bit disempowering. I feel like you may be trying to avoid difficulty, or you may be trying to avoid some kind of heavy catalyzation on your life and on your circumstances, but actually that's probably what's really needed here. Now I kind of understand this Magician card a little bit better. I didn't really talk about it much, but this Magician at the foundation of the reading in the unconscious mind, I feel this is saying that you, in order to really like generate a healthy step forward in you, I think you need to, along with the reassessment energy, I feel that this card is calling for you to actually make action on what you feel, what clarity you're able to gain by genuinely assessing the situation from the place of the ultimate observer, from that place of wisdom and love and understanding, and use that understanding to actually channel your energy into the things that are actually specifically meaningful to you, and to kind of like eliminate some of the uncertainty by actually just like having a little bit of a moment of elimination, really. Because I feel if you don't do that, there would be a little bit more of a heavy-handed action, and there might be more consequences and more fallout if you wait for someone else or something else to happen in order for you to feel like you know what to do next. Does that make sense? I feel like you need to have an awakening moment. You need to have a rebirth. You need to understand yourself and your circumstances much clearer, and make a decision based on the truth. You know, this Queen of Swords and Justice cards together, both in reverse. I feel like there may be a little bit here of you perhaps wanting to avoid some of the responsibility here, and hoping that things externally will change, and that will help you understand better how to proceed forward, how to make changes. But I really feel like with this extension of the reading here, these 5 cards are pretty clearly saying to me that if you're too passive, you may find that you have more difficult time. But if you're proactive and really use your will and your courage and your creativity to channel your energy forward into the things that actually really are important to you and meaningful to you, and really take a stand for yourself, that's what this feels like. I think there's a little bit too much passivity here, and your guides and your wisdom is trying to help you understand that if you take a more empowered stance and be more directive of the energy and how things go forward, it's going to feel so much different for you than if you wait for someone else to change their mind or make a decision, or for some external event to occur that will feel like you know what to do. But that's you're just kind of invoking the Tower card in a way that might not be that healthy. I'm just checking over here, but I feel that's it for the general reading. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at the Voyager deck now. We're going to shuffle the cards and throw down the holographic mandala spread on top of this one. If it's your first time here, the holographic mandala spread, the higher octave reading is designed to give a little more insight in what may be happening on a karmic and spiritual level. Hopefully it will provide some insight and some practical advice perhaps about how to move forward and how to work with the energies available, so that we can make the most out of the lessons that we're being dealt at this time. So again, send your energy into the deck. Bring all of your presence and attention to this reading. And let's take a look. Woman of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Two of Crystals, same card. Crossed by Devil's Play in reverse. Seven of Pentacles. Woman of Pentacles reversed. Eight of Wands reversed. Three of Cups reversed. Ace of Wands. The World reversed. Seven of Wands. Child of Wands. Ten of Wands. Temperance. Wheel of Fortune. And Strength. Yeah, nice. What I feel from this reading is that it's basically everything that I just said at the end there. It's talking about how you will be able to feel much more empowered and much more wielding, you know, of your own magic if you actually take this opportunity now to perhaps do things in a way that's different than maybe you would normally do. You know, when you're in this position, when you maybe have been in a position like this in the past where you felt uncertainty or you were a little bit confused, maybe you felt overwhelmed by your options, or you felt a little bit blind to what those options meant for you or what they could consequently become. I feel what this reading is describing here is that if you can channel your magic, channel some decisiveness into your circumstance and actually pursue the path that is leading you to growth. That's what it's saying here. So you have Child of Wands and Ten of Wands together in this quadrant, which describes you. So at the heart of the reading, the main theme is this decisiveness. Two of Crystals, crossed by Devil. So and then here in this quadrant you have Child of Wands and Ten of Wands. So what that's telling me is that you're being invoked by your higher self and guides to become more empowered to make decisions, even if you don't feel like you are 100% clear or know like what's the right thing to do. The process of inquiry that you're being asked to work with is that which drives you forward in your growth path, that which is going to help you learn the most, taking the perspective of the inquirer, right? Like using your internal mechanism of that which seeks knowledge and understanding, and that which seeks growth and development, and pursue this query from that perspective, while overcoming your tendency to do things in a habituated way. That's what the Devil's saying here. It's talking about overcoming your own habits, your own conditions from the past that would make you do things a certain way every time. This is asking you to challenge yourself to do something differently, to approach your quest from the position of the spiritual seeker, that which seeks knowledge and which is pursuing understanding through growth. So from that's actually, I feel like that's really beautiful and very clear guidance from your higher self. And from there, I feel like that you have a really good opportunity to unravel the mystery that's in front of you, just from simply beginning the quest from that position. So along this axis, what else we have is this Queen of Pentacles in reverse and the Seven of Pentacles. So that's telling me that there is in you a desire to become more self-sustaining, more grounded, more independent, and more empowered. And that this part of what you're going through now is a lesson in how to actually gain those things, gain those qualities. So if you were to, from the previous reading, approach things the way you might have done in the past, which is to kind of wait for some circumstance to change, or wait for someone to make a decision and then you kind of go along with that, this is much more you channeling your will and directly kind of pursuing life force to move in the direction that you seek to move it. And that's far more empowering. And so we have strength and fortune and universe here in these upper quadrants of the reading, along with this Seven of Pentacles, which is breakthrough. So Seven of Pentacles was in the previous reading at the heart of the matter, right? They kind of have different meanings in these two decks. So in the previous reading, I was talking about, you know, your investment or your patience in a thing or a person or a relationship or a project. But in this reading, Seven of Pentacles is about you breaking through, about you using your chi, your fire, your magic to actually push forward, sort of in the way I was describing here, with this like adopting the stance of the spiritual seeker, of someone who yearns to learn and understand and grow in knowledge and wisdom. And with that energy, you are then going to be able to break through any limitations that you may be existing in right now. And that's the point of all of this. We're kind of trying to find our growth edge and then go beyond it to become bigger and more empowered and more whole versions of ourselves. Well, what else we have here is the Seven of Wands with the Temperance card in this quadrant. This is telling me that, again, it's pretty simple. You really just need to work with your courage, your willpower. You have strength out here in the outcome position as well. This is kind of similar energy. There's a need to balance your fire and water elements in this experience, I feel. There's a need to move forward with courage, with determination, with will, with strength. That doesn't mean you don't have fears. It means that you feel those fears and you pursue anyway, and you go towards the things that feel the most terrifying and frightening, because that's where the jewels lie. And with Temperance hand in hand with this card, it's also just suggesting like taking a position of like equanimous, balanced, calm mind and emotions. Not rushing, I feel, is part of this. Not rushing. But also not hesitating. There needs to be balance in the way that you activate thoughts, feelings, emotions, and physical energy. There needs to be some movement. Because I felt that in the previous reading, and I feel it in this one as well. There's a slight potential here for things to stagnate if there isn't some movement sooner. And that's why I feel like all these cards came out in reverse, and in particular Tower reversed. I feel that there has been a little bit of hesitation that might be going on a little bit too long. I feel that there is a need for some kind of decision making or action taking to happen sometime soon. Otherwise you risk some hand of God kind of activity to happen here. Now, across the central axis of the reading, Three of Cups in reverse through the Eight of Wands in reverse. And then in the hopes and fears, we have the World reversed with the Fortune. So what this is telling me, and in the outcome, Ace of Wands with strength. You had Ace of Wands in the previous spread in the hopes and fears. So more repeating cards. You had Eight of Wands in this quadrant before as well. So what I'm getting from these cards in this part of the reading is that you, again, it's very clearly saying here, you need to take the reins. You need to take the reins. You need to make decisions, and you need to take action, and stop waiting for something outside of you to happen. Stop waiting for a situation to change. Stop waiting for someone to make a decision and let you know about that decision. That's not how this is going to resolve in the best way. In the best way this can resolve is if you take the position of genuine inquiry, of willingness to make a decision, even if that decision may show to be wrong later. A wrong decision is better than no decision. And pursue your spiritual path, your spiritual quest in the desire for growing and learning, and let that be the agenda rather than some lofty outcome that may be unachievable for some of you. But you need to take matters into your own hand here. That's what I feel the Fortune is saying. And again, the Wheel of Fortune card is not about some kind of dramatic situation that happens all of a sudden. You have some good luck and fortune finds you. The Wheel of Fortune card is about your persistent action towards improving the quality of your life. And that's how you improve the quality of your life. That's how you get fortunate and get lucky, is that you make choices that really drive home the point about self-love and self-care and self-nurturing. And yes, then you will have better quality of life. But if you avoid making decisions, if you avoid closing a cycle that maybe has already long been over, we have the World here in reverse, you may just simply be putting off what is actually rightfully yours. That's what I feel here. And this Eight of Wands in reverse twice in your reading now. I feel like you are hesitating. I feel like you guys know what you want to do. I think you already have made a decision, but you may be afraid of the consequences of that decision because it may be so disruptive that you would almost rather stay in circumstances that are not really good for you, because you're afraid of what it looks like to let go of that which is familiar. And that's also what the Devil as the crossing card here in the reading is saying. You may be avoiding making changes because it's better the devil you know. I don't really support that. I don't really support that. Everyone has to fight for their own quality of life. We all have to fight for ourselves. Nobody's going to save us. Nobody's going to fix us. Nobody's going to really help us. Sometimes you can get help from people, but it's not the kind of like, nobody can really help you become you. Only you can do that. So, let's see if there's anything else here. But I feel that's more or less it for the reading. Oh, let's look at the bottom of the deck. I haven't pulled those yet. Right, so we had Woman of Cups. And here we have Sage of Crystals reversed. There's the Hangman. And Eight of Crystals. This is more or less driving home what I've already been saying all this time. Like, the message from your higher self here is to pursue your own joy and happiness. You may have been investing a lot in other people, in your work, in your children, in projects, in your partnerships, whatever. But there's something here about really seeking to fully embody your own spiritual quest. And yeah, of course we have to still maintain our lives and maintain our relationships and maintain our like kind of day-to-day mundane activities. But everything can look and feel really different if you're, how do I say that? If the first thoughts you think about and the first breaths you take in the morning and the first actions you take every morning are about your wellness and your wholeness and your sense of self and your purposefulness, everything else is happier and healthier from that. Even if your other activities don't really look that different or aren't really changed that much, you know, the mundane things of life are still always going to be there. But your sense of well-being and your sense of wholeness and purposefulness will become enhanced to the point that you will feel so much different and so much better and so much stronger in your life. And I feel like if there's some energy around you where that sensation may be diminished, either as a result of certain activities that you perform or certain obligations or certain people who may be vying for your attention or wanting something from you, as we discussed in the first reading, then this is a point where you're being asked to assess all of that information and make decisions about what you're going to keep and what you're going to let go of. That's basically what this reading comes down to. What are you going to keep and what are you going to let go of? But I feel to say you can't not make a decision anymore. You may have overthought this far too much and you may already know, you may have known for a long time what's right for you, but your doubts and insecurities may have prevented you from being clear and decisive. But the time where that is okay is really coming too close to the point of things being kind of handled by the universe on your behalf if you don't act. And it's not going to be as cute or as comfortable if life makes a move on your behalf than if you are empowered enough to say, this is what I want. And that's also part of this reading too. It comes down to your own sense of self-worth and self-love, to be able to make choices for you and by you, independently of other people's needs and expectations. And I think that's where I'm going to leave this reading, Gemini. Thank you so much for watching. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you. I hope you found some things in there that you can work with. Thanks for liking, sharing, subscribing and commenting, and I will see you in the next reading.